Hello. Okay, there we go. We are good. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Sorry about that. Minor technical difficulties. This is what happens when you don't stream regularly. You lose the ability to talk and how to do all the technical stuff. But it is fixed. And we are here now for Bloody Book Club, where we read horror books and then we talk about them. And hopefully you read them too, because that would make it way more fun. Yeah. But I mean, it's fine. We read the book.
It's fine. You don't have to. It's not assigned. It's not required reading. It's just the fun reading.
I mean, if you want to be our friends, it is.
Yeah. It's required for us. It's not required for you.
So, I'm Gory B Movie.
I'm Killer Kayla.
And what did we read?
We read episode 13 by Craig DiLouie.
In physical form, it looks much more intimidating.
It does, but it's not. So I guess we should talk about it first.
Yes.
This book is written like a found footage style movie. And it is truly written you can see there's big words, there's
big words,
text messages, it's not, and it's really small little chapters, so it looks intimidating. It's not. It was a breeze.
I read the audiobook, so that's why, even though I told you I read the book, I'm like, I've never seen this manuscript before. Hey, Fairpoint Station's here, and Denisha Lane, what is up, guys? Life with DiLouie. I'm actually a big fan of this author, Craig DiLouie. Yeah, right there on the shelf next to you. You'll see Suffer the Children.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, grab that for me. Yeah, grab it.
I can't reach it.
So I'm a big fan of him. He is somebody who comes to Seattle Crypticon a lot. He's in Canada, but I think he's from the Washington. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, this book was one of the scariest books I've ever read. It was so good, and I actually got it signed by him. Dude, such a classy dude.
So fancy.
How far would you go? It was really good. Anyway, so because I love this book so much, and it was so scary, and I'm hard to scare, I was super excited for this one, and I've never heard of a found footage book before. I think the closest is maybe House of Leaves. I haven't read that, but that's what I
haven't either. I mean, Dracula is kind of written that way.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's letters,
journals,
newspaper articles,
Carrie.
A lot of letters. But you can see this one is written like production,
almost like
screenplay.
a yeah.
So it's pretty, and there's some journal entries in it. I found it really easy to kind of breeze through. I did for the last couple, the last portion of it. I also listened to it, and this book felt like it was more meant for sound or screen. So, I hope they do an adaptation of it because it would be really easy to do.
Sometimes with books, I don't know if I want to read the audiobook or if I want to, physically read it. Sometimes I will start with an audiobook on something. I did this recently with a book called Cutting Teeth, and I'm like, this is so well written. I want to read it. I don't want to listen to the audiobook. I actually want to look at the language. And this is well written too, but sometimes like this translated to another found footage one was De-Evolution. Oh, okay. Like De-Evolution or World War Z, those are two other ones. This translated to audiobook so well because and I'm sure they changed it with the book because they'll say this is a found recording.
Oh yeah.
And so, and they say it's an audiobook. So I'm sure they've tweaked it a bit. Yeah. But they have a full cast, which I really like. It's a little more immersive. It had sound effects. Like if something fell over or something, you would hear it. At one point, this like 60s song plays, and it actually does play. I was kind of bummed out because later on they mentioned that White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane plays, and I don't think they have the rights to that. So I found it on YouTube. I'm like, I need the whole experience. I've been spoiled. Spoiled, I'll tell ya.
Yeah.
So it was... I highly recommend this as an audiobook, and it was like a 9-hour audiobook. So I listened to it while I worked.
It's really nice to read because it's like in small chunks because you're getting just like a few pages of video footage or a journal. So it seemed to go by pretty fast. I liked it.
So a little bit about what it's about.
So it's about this. I don't even know where it's set at, to be honest with you. I don't remember. Is it California?
I don't remember.
I don't think it really matters. This old house that used to be not an asylum, but it was
like a research facility.
Yeah, research facility.
It was almost like a hippie commune because this was during the 60s. So like they had videos and stuff where they're like growing their own food and stuff, and it was very insular. So they didn't outsource for anything, and they did experiments on people, which kind of made me think of The Shop and Stephen King.
Yeah.
And then after that, it has been shut down. And even though this is supposed to be one of the most haunted places in the world, no paranormal investigators have ever been able to go in. Mm-hmm. But now that they're tearing it down, the show,
Fade to Black. It all kind of takes place from Fade to Black, the show's perspective. They're like a ghost hunting show, like Zach Baggins kind of a thing.
It reminded me more of a Paranormal State. I don't know if you've seen that one. Because they were less... I don't want to be mean because I know he has fans. Yeah. I think Zach Baggins is kind of a douche. Like, I don't like when he'll go in there and he'll be really aggressive. I'm like, okay, if you really believe in ghosts, like, maybe not the way.
Yeah.
But Paranormal State, like, it was one of those teams too. But because the main guy is supposed to be really likable, the guy Matt in this, and he had a paranormal experience as a child. And Paranormal State, they would always talk about how this guy had an experience as a child.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the only ghost hunting show I think I've ever watched is Ghost Hunters, right? Is that what Zach Baggins' show is called? Ghost Hunters? And then we watched, like, Expedition Unknown and a lot of, like, those Bigfoot hunting shows.
And I've seen the movie Grave Encounters. That one's really fun.
But so it's a TV show like that. And you have this team. You have Matt and Claire, their husband and wife. He's the believer. He had this experience when he was a kid with ghosts. And Claire is his wife, and she's a scientist. She's a skeptic. I think she's a physicist or something like that. But she's kind of like all about trying to find this, like a god something, like a god code or something.
Yeah. It's like a source of energy.
Yeah. And then they have a team. They have a cameraman.
They're kind of like Mulder and Scully a little bit.
Yeah. And then they have their team. They have their young cameraman. I can't remember. Jake, is that his name? And then they have Kevin, he was an ex-cop,
and he's like one of those guys who's always telling his old war stories. Yeah. And he believes he saw a demon on the job, and he's very, very macho.
Mm-hmm. Carries a gun with him all the time. And then they have Jessica, who...
Oh, wasn't Jake... Yeah, Jake was the cameraman. He's like... And they call him, like, a Viking.
Yeah, Techno-Viking.
Techno-Viking. He seemed pretty cool. Like, he's not a believer. I think he just does the camera.
Yeah.
He just shoots. Then they hired Jessica, who is an actress, just to have somebody kind of personable in front of the camera.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's the team. And they're going to this house. It's called the Foundation House. Mm-hmm. They get access to it before it gets torn down to go and measure the activity.
And I think it does a really good job, even though a lot of this is like found stuff, it does a good job of exploring all of the characters. I think it's really important in any story that you know what every character wants. So you know what they have to lose. And in this book, everybody has a very different trajectory. Like we start off, Matt is this big believer, and this is like a jackpot thing for him. Whereas Claire really does not enjoy the paranormal investigations. She is not a believer. She's not found anything that's made her even remotely a believer, and she kind of thinks it's like beneath her.
Yeah. She says at one point something about she's not even doing science, she's just debunking.
Yeah.
And so it's like she's not getting any passion out of the projects. It's not what she wants to be doing. I had highlighted something else. If you have something to say while I look at this, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
she's trying to make her husband happy. They are very happily married. And she loves that he is a believer. She just isn't. And for her, this just isn't fun. By the way, nice to see a time capsule here. What's
Hi.
up? And JK's 80s horror fan. JK's 80s horror fans here. So nice to see some familiar faces.
Hi, everybody. So I highlighted this thing. So this is in the very beginning, it's like an article that somebody else writes about the show. And they said, though I'm personally agnostic on the subject, I sometimes watch for the fascinating locations and cheap thrills. And I literally had a conversation with Doug about this, how I am agnostic when it comes to ghosts. Like, I could believe, I could
That's
maybe
how I am.
not.
Like,
and when it comes to...
I could be convinced.
Yeah, I could be
I'm
convinced.
open to the idea.
But when it comes to Bigfoot, I am an atheist. I do not believe in Bigfoot. If Bigfoot exists, he is not at all what we think he is. Like, I am atheistic when it comes to Bigfoot and agnostic.
You need to read that de-evolution book. Like,
Maybe.
That kind of made me think, like, maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Maybe it'll switch me. But for now, agnostic on ghosts, atheist on Bigfoot.
Danny says Bigfoot believes in you.
Well, I'm glad somebody does.
I like big foots and I cannot lie.
Listen, some people, that's their jam, but it's not for me. I think so much. Well, I'm not going to get into my tangent about Bigfoot. I have a lot to say about it.
You're officially kicked out of the Pacific Northwest.
Well,
what are you going to say next? You don't like sparkly vampires? Like, not one of us.
What I don't believe in
Do you hate coffee too? Hate the rain?
I love the rain. I love coffee. My problem with the sparkling vampires is not that they sparkle. It's that he was celibate for 100 years. That's not vampires.
Yeah, but you find out that their skin is like made of marble, so I don't think you can actually pleasure yourself if it's just a rock.
But I think the nature of...
No amount of lube is going to fix that.
I think the nature of vampires...
That means when she's a vampire and they're doing it, it's like a mortar and a pestle. You could put some herbs in there.
Ew, gross! For me, a vampire, they're like all about like sexy, right? Like it's about devouring and consuming and like... And I just...
Making herbs.
Those vampires were so sexless that was like my biggest problem.
Yeah.
There. Listen, I have a lot of opinions about a lot of things.
Maybe we should talk. We should have a whole Twilight
hot takes. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, let's move on.
Way off subject. No, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Yes. So each of these characters has a journey. Now Matt has no idea that his wife is unhappy. So, for him, this is his big break. He's really upset that, every time it's just the bullshit you see on these shows where they might have heard something. He wants to find something real because he firmly, passionately believes he was friends with the ghost as a child. Like his wife doesn't even believe his story. She thinks it's cute. So he just wants to find that because this ghost was a friend of his, and I guess she knew his mother. And at first they thought it was like an imaginary friend, but when he told his mother about it and passed on a message, it gave his mother comfort. Yeah. And so he thinks if he can make people believe that ghosts are real, then everybody will have this comfort, like, hey, we don't just evaporate. Yeah. Like, we go on.
And peace can be found, and...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty... His intentions are really good.
Movie Massacre!
Woohoo, hi!
That's my favorite greeting ever. Woo, hi!
I am so stupid.
It's my favorite.
Anyways,
it was perfect.
Yeah, and so they all bring something different to the table, and then you get a little bit of history about the actual house.
Yes.
That they're getting into, and how it was run by these scientists. I don't know how scientific they actually were. It seemed
It's
more...
very almost like pseudoscience.
Yeah.
They're essentially doing experiments on people to try to get them to have powers. And they think some people just have a natural aptitude for it. And it almost kind of reminded me of the movie, I don't know if you've seen Martyrs.
Mm-mm.
But Martyrs, I don't want to tell you if you haven't seen it because it's got a great twist.
Yeah, don't tell me.
But essentially, they're doing all these things to people, and most of the people suffer needlessly. Because only a select few have this aptitude to get these powers where they can connect with the beyond. Like one guy was tested on, and he's like, I just want you to find out what the hell they did to me because I'm like broken now mentally. So, yeah, like it's some spooky stuff.
It's pretty spooky. They like have this basement and there's this well and they try to match like symbols and sounds to try to get the most activity out of people and things. I don't know how far to go.
I think that's pretty good. I do want to talk a little bit about a couple of the other characters. The character I liked the most, I didn't really like Claire, but yeah, honestly, I don't think you're really supposed to because she's the skeptic. She's the party pooper, you know. And Matt's just a little too nice. I don't know. Like I like I'm in between. Don't make him too nice or too crappy.
Yeah.
I really liked Jessica though because she's kind of thrown into this. She's not a believer. She is just trying to get something that's going to launch her career.
Yeah.
And I really admired her because she's a single mom. And her sister is taking care of her little boy. And, you know, she says, like, she gets a lot of shit for, like, working and being away so much. But she's like, I want my son to follow his dreams.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to, you know, show him that it can be done. And I can't do that if I give up on what I believe in. So she's trying to set an example for him. And she also knows, you know, she will be happier that way so she can be a better mom to him. Yeah. Which I think is really cool.
I feel like she was definitely the most realistic and level-headed of all the characters. Like, her fears are legitimate fears that people should have when they're dealing with entities.
She's the audience entry character because, like, these people are, like, scientists and, like, you know, believers and stuff. And so when weird shit starts happening, she's like, we need to get the fuck out. Yeah. Like, now.
She's like, this is dangerous. We should not be here.
This is stupid. Let's get the fuck out. And a lot of her stuff that we hear is text exchanges with her sister. And we got a woohoo hi. That's my favorite. And her cat dad. Hey. We hung out the other day on a stream. Which stream was that? I don't remember. God, my brain is bad. Oh, Patrick's stream. That's right.
Oh, nice. Anyway. Yeah, all your friends. All your friends are here to hang out with you.
I have the worst memory.
That's okay. Yeah. So Jessica, she's a cool character. Raul Cooley, I like him.
Yeah, the Crow versus Daredevil stream that Danny Nightmare was on. That was really good over on Have Cheetah Will Review.
What about the Crow versus Daredevil?
Which one's better?
Oh, I don't know anything about the Crow.
And I know awesome. Very little. That's all you need to know. The Crow's awesome.
So who won?
It's really more about the journey, not who wins. But
right.
Crow won.
Oh, okay. Shots
if
fired.
You ask me.
Okay. I did ask you.
It's like not like Dan told me that, and I'm like, it's not even an argument. Yeah. Like I like Daredevil, but come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, I don't know anything about the Crow though, so.
Yeah, Fairpoint knows what's up.
Yeah.
So they get to this place, and we'll kind of take you up to, I guess, like the inciting incident, and then from there, keep it spoiler free.
Yeah.
They get there, and then what do you know? Yes, it's actually freaking haunted, and the premise of this novel is that this is episode 13 of their show, and their show's kind of on shaky ground because, yes, initially it was kind of fun to see everything debunked, but the audience wants to see real ghosts.
Yeah.
And you can only do the debunking episode every time before audiences lose interest.
Yes.
And so they're like, well, maybe make it more about the characters or something because what you're doing isn't going to last.
Yeah, so they're trying to come up with other things to do. Claire's talking about leaving the show. So they kind of like, everybody's kind of bickering. There's a little bit of like not getting along. They get to the house. Nothing happens at first. Like it's almost evidence in itself that nothing is happening for them. because there's like, you know.
Second Opinion, Crow did one.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Great. I love it. I'm going to have to watch it because I don't know.
That's our next watch. I know we had a plan.
We did. Yeah. I don't even remember the plan.
It was Heather's. We're watching
Oh,
The Crow
okay.
now we're watching The Crow instead.
Okay, great. Love it. So
yeah, nothing happens.
Nothing happens. And then, like, they're not even in a room or something, and a big thing happens. A big thing happens.
A big thing. And I will say, like, I'm kind of curious what this looks like in the book. Because essentially, like, it goes from nothing to everything all at once. Like, at first, you know, nothing. It's the stuff you'd see in a show. And then all of a sudden, this, like, weird 60s song is playing. And on the audiobook, it's really cool because not only is it playing, but it gets louder and louder and louder. And there's also another... When they're talking to the guy who's tested on, he says he hears this weird sound all the time. They play this sound, and it's actually really creepy.
Yeah.
So I think, for me, the audiobook was really a good experience.
I should have listened to it probably because it's like, you know, it's like this. It's like big chunks and...
But yeah, then they actually see a spirit come out of the well. And so it's like, now everything changes. Like, Matt's excited. Claire's all of a sudden, like, she goes Looney Tunes. Like, she starts laughing maniacally and then becomes obsessed.
She
and
loses
Jessica, like a normal person, is like, let's get the fuck out.
Yeah.
This is fucking scary. We're never going back there again.
Yeah, because she has a theory that she talks with her sister about that, like, well, if they can go through walls, they can go through my body. And, like, what's to stop them from, like, stopping my heart or my lungs or something? So she has, like, these very real good questions about what these entities are capable of.
Yeah, so it gets really scary really fast. I like that, especially if you watch a lot of these shows, like, the most that happens is they might see a twinkle or an orb or hear something move. Like, you know, this goes from nothing to something really happening all of a sudden. And so we already know that this is, like, found footage. So obviously these characters, I mean, spoiler alert, like, we know they're not here to tell their story.
Yes. That's a good way.
So, but I think with any found footage, it's interesting to find out what happened to them. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see them die.
Yeah.
You know, some things like Blair Witch, you know, one of the more famous found footage movies ever, it ends and, you know, people still thought they might be out there somewhere. They're missing.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not a movie where there's a conclusion that tells us definitively what happened. Once it stops recording, we don't have any information.
Yeah. Unless you see somebody's, like, head rolling in the dirt, it's really hard to say what happened. So
I guess let's move on and talk about what we liked about it.
I liked the characters a lot. I liked the way it was written. It was different. It was, like, pretty fast paced. I don't really ever feel bored. I liked the concept itself, and I think it will be adapted very well.
It is made to be adapted. And already I will say it was perfect as an audiobook. One thing I will say, a lot of times with audiobooks, I turn it off once it's like, thank you for listening to Audible. Like, I turned it off. This time I'm glad I didn't. I listened to the acknowledgments and stuff. But then at the very end of it, you hear the author singing the song. And it was really cute.
That's cute. That's really fun. I think the only things I didn't like about it happened at the end, which I don't want to talk about too much, but I was a little confused, and I wanted some more answers about things. About a lot of things.
We'll have a little spoiler discussion at the very end. What I liked about it, like you, I liked Jessica. Kind of one of the things I didn't like Claire. I mean, you're not really supposed to, but I
kind of did like Claire. Like, there was a part
but
of myself that I saw
that way
in her.
She kind of has to be that way for her character's journey. I just, her know-it-alliness and the way she kind of talks down to people really kind of grated my nerves. Yeah. But I love Jessica. I thought Jessica was great. I liked the cameraman.
He was cute.
I liked the dialogue was really good. It does feel like people having a conversation. And as far as the audiobook goes, the performances were really good. Like, they did not hold back. They really gave great performances. When that woman is laughing maniacally, she is laughing maniacally in a believable way. which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I really, really liked that. The setting, was pretty interesting. It wasn't just a standard haunted house. It was like this weird commune. It kind of combined a lot of different things. And even though it's found footage, and I actually really like found footage movies. I know they kind of get a lot of hate sometimes. It is a genre I really enjoy because it has this kind of authenticness to it.
Yeah. I don't love a found footage movie. I don't like the shaky cam. I just want to watch a movie. But with this book, I really liked, I thought it was nice to be able to see, I felt like I could see the house really well. I felt like I could see the setting really well.
He described it very well.
It's described.
Which is interesting because it's written almost like a screenplay.
Yeah. But I think that was helpful for me because it's, not buried in there with all kinds of other things. It's this is we're setting the scene, and then here's the conversation. So that was really helpful for me.
He wrote it really, really well. It felt authentic. And what I liked about it, as somebody who watches a lot of found footage, is I know the tropes.
Yeah.
I'm the Randy in this situation where I can tell you the rules on how to survive a found footage movie.
Yeah.
And despite knowing the tropes, knowing what always happens, the camera is going to get dropped at some point. Also, why are you still filming? These kind of things. The book handled these things in really creative ways. And I was very surprised by the ending. I was like, whoa. Honestly, keeping it spoiler-free in my discussion of the ending, it went places I did not think it was going to go.
Me either, which is why I have so many questions about it.
It gets...
Yeah. It gets big.
Yeah, I mean,
really
we're
big.
talking into Lovecraftian type levels of melt your brain here. A good question in the chat was from Fairpoint Station. He says, if you were to put it to screen, do you think they would go PG-13 or R?
I think they could do it PG-13 and do
Really?
it pretty well. I think it depends. But I mean, yeah, I think they could do PG-13 and it would work out.
The Grudge and The Ring are PG-13, and I think they're really scary. A lot of this stuff is very mental, and it's what's happening to the characters, even though they do, physical things do happen to them, and there is some violence. It's more to kind of compare it to things that you guys are familiar with, to, because you're feeling around, you want to know if you should read this. So, one scary scene is a lot like the scene from The Shining, where Jack is going through the hallways calling for Danny to take his medicine. There's a character chasing another character, and they are insane. You know what I'm talking about. And then there's kind of just a lot of people, in some ways, not as far as the gore, but as far as the characters losing their minds and having to experience another reality, it reminded me a lot of Event Horizon.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I think they say they drop the F-bomb a lot in Event Horizon. It might be rated R. Also, it's just a terrifying movie. This didn't have a ton of gore in it, which is a big part of why I think
it's more people going crazy. Another one, In the Mouth of Madness, essentially these people get into something and it drives them insane. And I don't know if it's a spoiler to say this, but to find out, because this place is interesting, because nobody's been able to investigate it, and they never do explain why that is. I'm not sure why. Just the owner didn't want the tourism or something. But without telling you what that motivation is, the ghosts, going from not doing anything to suddenly revealing themselves, they have their own motivation, which I like.
Yeah.
A lot of times with these paranormal found footage movies, our ghosts do not have a motivation other than, I guess, they don't want you there. The ghosts have motivation and agency in this, which is really, really interesting. And their motivation was something I had never heard before, and that was exciting.
Yeah. I don't want to say too much about what I think, because I don't want to give anything away. Because
I feel like they haven't read it in the chat, so I don't want to talk about it too much.
Because I'm also not really sure about my thoughts about it. I feel like maybe I misunderstood something. It's a conversation maybe we should have had before, or we can have later in a mini spoilery section about the matter. But yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot, and I would like to.
Were you scared?
At some points, yes. Especially when they were doing the whole thing. exploring.
I think what kind of blew my mind, because I was expecting, like, what's the worst that could happen in a house? I was thinking, like, The Shining and stuff. Things might move around. People might get possessed. It really didn't go that way. They go down that well, and there's a whole other, like, hellscape world.
It's like a dimension.
Down there.
It's like another dimension.
Yeah. Like, and it's not like because there's creatures or anything. It's just like this whole other dimension of weirdness. Like something, if you're familiar with things like back rooms where it's just really endless and goes on and can make you crazy.
Yeah.
And you can't possibly fully process all of it. It's like that.
Yeah, that was the scariest part. Like, one of the scarier parts when they were talking about, like, the patterns on the walls and how they, like, repeated. And how, I don't know, I was like, that's really creepy.
And how some characters see things that other characters can't see. And it messes with them. And, yeah, it was really disturbing. And it really encouraged me to use my imagination.
I need to go up. You can see it, but it's fine.
Oh, whoops. Oh, it's not like a movie. I don't think anyone's going to care that our boom mic is in the way.
That's better.
And okay. Eye shedding? I don't know. This is my Krampus sweater. Look how cute it is.
Krampus.
Like, he's got little jewels in his eyes. I'm touching
so
my
cute.
boobs.
He's
Let's
so
forget
cute.
I did that.
No, don't forget it. Look at his cute little eyeballs.
Yeah, he's got eyeballs over here,
He's
too.
so cute.
So cute. My mommy got me this. She wanted us to all have Christmas sweaters.
I love it. I need to watch that movie again.
You do. You need to watch so many movies.
Well, I've seen that one. I like that one a lot.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay. You haven't seen The Crow.
But I haven't seen The
Crow. Oh, my God. So when we watch The Crow, we have to have, like, seriously, it is, like, the gothest goth movie ever. Cool. It is the most goth of goth movies.
Okay.
So we're going to do a goth makeover.
Black lipstick.
I think I've never done one of those members only streams before, but that's what we'll do. Okay. We'll do a get ready with me while I'll do your goth makeup. And then if you watch the public stream, then you can see the results.
I like it. That'll be fun.
So, not that we have a lot of members on this channel, but there's incentive.
Incentive.
Goth it up! Goth it up!
I've never.
Oh my God. My favorite memory of The Crow, going off subject again, I watched it with my mom when it came out. Because I had heard about it because I babysat for a guy who was all dressed up as The Crow. I'm like, what the hell, guys? Yeah. And I was babysitting their daughter when they went to go see it. And I read all the graphic novels while they were gone. It was really awesome. So I was like, wow, my mom, we got to rent this movie. And we did. At one point, somebody called somebody an ass hair. I remember my mom laughed so hard. She about died. She thought it was the most hilarious thing in the whole world.
Ass hair.
An ass hair.
I love it.
Good night, Movie Masker.
Good night. Sweet dreams.
He has to go wrap presents.
Ooh,
go be Santa Clauses.
How exciting. I have to do that too.
I need to as well.
Are you ready? Do you have all your holiday shopping
I am done. I'm done. I gotta do some stocking stuffers.
I am not done. I'm not
doing some stocking stuffers. I like to watch like Christmas movies while I wrap presents. So
we did that the other night. We watched Christmas Vacation and Ernest Saves Christmas.
Classics.
And organized the lights and got a couple things out.
We've been watching like new release ones. We watched Urkel Saves Christmas or Saves Santa.
That sounds weird.
We watched Merry Little Batman.
We watched.
There's Something in the Barn.
Was that a good one? We thought about watching that one. We watched Candy Cane Lane.
Was that good?
I actually really liked it. I thought it was really cute. I laughed a lot.
I got it. I rented it, but I haven't watched it.
It's pretty cute. It was pretty cute. I laughed.
Because I freaking miss
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
I know.
I miss that man.
He's top notch.
Why is he not aging?
I don't know. He looks great. He looks
really
amazing.
Does. You know who else isn't aging? I saw that there's a Good Burger too, and those guys look exactly the same.
We watched that too. It was really good.
Really? I need to watch that.
It was fun. If you liked the first Good Burger, you'll like this Good Burger.
I don't know how our audience feels about it, but I am enjoying our segues.
Me too.
They're everything to me.
Good
Bad
Burger.
Santa, Xmas staple. That's my question for the chat. What are your yearly, I have to watch it because it's the holiday season, Christmas movies? My go-to is Gremlins. I do have to watch Gremlins.
That would be so scary.
So good. I like Black Christmas. I gotta watch Black Christmas. And one I really like now is the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
It's really sweet.
So cute.
It's really sweet.
I also really like Elf.
I love Elf. Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, I love that one, but I haven't watched it in so long.
The best. It's on Disney. I also own it. I will let you borrow it, but I literally watch it all the time.
It's so good.
It's so good. Michael Caine acts his ass off.
I like the Mickey Christmas Carol too.
Oh, that's a really cute one too.
So good.
I like Bad Santa. It took me a long time to like it, but I do like it.
Another one for Black Christmas. 2 for Black Christmas. interesting. Well, oh, Danny just said it. Yeah, Black Christmas was Elvis's favorite movie. I love Black Christmas. I think it's wonderful.
What's the Christmas one that's kind of like an anthology series, and it's got William Shatner.
Christmas Horror Story.
Yeah, with William Shatner, and he's like the radio host.
Oh, and Krampus.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Krampus is a great one. But I like that one. That's a good one,
That's a good one, too. Some good ones.
Yeah.
I need to watch Ernest Saves Christmas. It's been way too long.
It's on Disney Plus.
Yes.
If you want to watch it. It's really sweet. Ernest is the best.
Do we want to... Okay, so should we do mild spoilers where we're speaking code so we won't completely ruin it?
That might be a great idea.
If they want to listen,
yeah.
But if you're like... For me, like, when I do not want spoilers, like, I will just tell people, like, don't even tell me if you like it, because if I know them, then I'm going to piece together and I'm going to figure out the whole thing. So, we're going to do mild spoilers. We're not going to outright tell you anything, but I gotta hear what the...
Okay, I think I can be cryptic about my questions.
Okay.
Do you have a button for spoilers, or no?
No, we're just going to zoom in.
Okay, so
Oh, Die Hard, sorry. I love Die Hard. Oh my gosh. So I gotta tell you how our cat did this. My mother has an ornament of John McClane, and it looks like he's just like hanging. So cool.
Cute. I haven't seen Die Hard in a long time, but I'm really into action movies these days. Like The Meg. One of the greatest movies I've ever
when
seen.
the little dog is in the ball.
That was pretty cute. Mm-hmm. Mission Impossible was great. Like nice. I can get into an action, so maybe I should revisit Die Hard. Okay, so spoiler maybe
for our segues
situation.
Drink every time we segue.
Every time.
Fun fact: did you know the inventor of the Segway died on a Segway?
I don't doubt it.
Now you know,
because they're scary.
They're really dangerous.
They're very scary. People in Seattle, when I used to live in Seattle downtown, I'd see grown businessmen on their Segways all the time. You wouldn't believe it.
It adds to the bloodiness of the Bloody Book Club.
Yes.
The dangerous Segways we have.
Okay, so my question is, are what they're experiencing in the house, is it even ghosts?
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, because they define ghosts as the spirits of dead people. Mm-hmm. Demons are things that have never lived.
I don't even think that they're demons, though. Like, it felt like something totally different to me.
So they kind of explain at the end when they talk about... No, you know what they are, because one of the characters, I'm not telling you who, becomes one. Yes. And there are other ones, like the two investigators who started the foundation, they're in there, and they were human. So maybe there are some that are not. For the most part, these are dead people.
So because I kind of know what you're talking about, but I felt like some of the things that, like, when the one guy was going through the maze and he was having like a heart, like, that didn't feel like a ghost situation to me.
But I feel like in that, like, there's the upper world where they're kind of operating by our rules, and then there's the lower world where it's very Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
And they can alter, like, space and time.
Okay. That might make
kind of
more
like
sense.
How in some of these kind of movies there's possession. In this, there's not possession. They're completely altering time and space. It almost reminded me of, like, Labyrinth. Remember how he can change the maze?
Yeah.
So, yeah, they can alter the reality
kind of
around
why
the characters.
I was using the word entity instead of ghost, because they didn't feel ghosty to me. It was definitely a different, like,
well, I mean, in a way, they're
ghost.
not, because they become something else. Because Claire... Shit. Yeah. Anyway, so Claire investigates it, and she discovers something about them where essentially they have, mild spoiler, they basically choose to give themselves to the power of this place.
Yeah.
And then they become something else. But what's interesting about that is if you give yourself to it, you lose all of your empathy and humanity. You are no longer... So in a way, no. I mean, they're not ghosts in the traditional sense, like what Matt wants to find.
Right.
They have no soul.
Because when Matt was talking about his experience when he was a kid, like, that was like a true ghost experience, right? Like, that was a ghost. Nothing else that happens felt like that.
I guess in a sense it's something different. I mean, that's one of the things that's exciting about this book, is because yes, they used to be people, but they're not ghosts in the traditional sense because they have chosen to become something else. So essentially, you guys know how there's that scene in The Matrix where it's like, do you want to take the red pill or the blue pill? Do you want to know everything and have to live in a shitty life where you eat gruel, or just be blissfully unaware?
Yeah.
And they kind of, when you die in this place, you get offered that. Do you want to understand everything, but you will give up all of your humanity? You will no longer care about anybody that you loved, your children, your husband, your wife, nothing. You no longer give a crap.
Moving on to like another plane of existence.
You only care about knowledge and expanding that knowledge.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to make a choice. And then, at that point, you're not really human anymore. Because I think your soul is what makes you human, and they are devoid of a soul.
Yeah. Okay. That kind of clears it up for me. I needed to like work that thought through. Because I was like, I don't really know what's happening. Like, because it isn't your traditional...
It's not.
Situation.
And, okay, so here's kind of a spoiler. So I'm going to tell you what the ghost's motivation is. And I think this is really exciting. And if I hadn't read the book, this would make me want to read the book. So if you're like me and you kind of like to have I don't really like surprises, guys.
I like a spoiler.
I'm not a surprises kind of gal.
No.
I like to kind of know some stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like to know like who did it and a whodunit. But like...
You want to know that there's going to be a whodunit element.
If there's something exciting, I kind of want to know, because then it's like, oh, I have motivation to read this now. So here it is. Last warning before I tell you what the motivation of the spirits is. It's interesting because they go there to investigate the ghosts. The ghosts are investigating them. The ghosts want to understand humanity. So these people were never investigating ghosts. They were lured in when the spirits decided they wanted people there.
Yeah.
And the whole time, the ghost's been putting them through different things to
see how they react.
To mess with them. In that sense, I don't know if anyone's here seen the movie The Forgotten. But that movie's about aliens who take away people's children. To see what happens, and most of them don't they don't fight it. They don't remember their kids. But Julianne Moore in this movie, she knows she had a son, and the aliens are testing like that kind of maternal bond that mothers have with their children, and she like a few other people have proven that stays. But that's kind of how these entities are. We're like, well, what happens if I do this to the human? What happens if I make them crazy? What happens if I alter their reality?
If I put them in this really intense situation?
Yes. Yeah. Can we make them kill each other? Can we make them kill themselves?
Thinking of it that way, I wonder if, like, the original, like, people who were running this foundation house, like, it might have been, but it felt so much bigger than some of their energy even. Like, they got lured, like they opened it up, but then they kind of got sucked in.
Well, and that's the big reveal, is you think the people who started Foundation House opened up something that they did something. They didn't. It's just like Claire said in the beginning. All their stuff is hippie nonsense. Yeah. They didn't accomplish anything. They were something already there, and it's kind of one of those things, like when people tell you don't play with Ouija boards because you're just sending out an invitation and you don't know who's going to accept it. These people basically sent out a big invitation, and these entities that wanted to kind of
learn and explore,
analyze humans, and explore them and poke and prod at them, were like, I'll take your offer. Yeah,
we'll come in. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that part was really scary to me because it was like not normal. Like nobody was in control. Those entities were in control, and nobody stood a chance.
It's almost kind of like in the well, there's the upside down, like from Stranger Things. And once they go down that well, like, there is no normal reality. No. Like, it just listening to it really kind of hurt my brain just because, like, all the things that they were doing.
There's a few things that I got
You imagine what it would be like to be in that situation. Like, it would make you insane, and how the time passes and stuff there, and how they can make you just walk endlessly. Like, It was hard. Like, even though there's nothing gory happening, like, the things they're going through, like, one character is spending what's the equivalent of, like, years just walking in the dark, hearing scary noises. Like, I think in some ways that's a lot scarier to me than a very vivid description of somebody being ripped apart, especially in a book.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in a movie things are a little bit different,
Yeah.
but especially in a book, those kind of descriptions.
Because you can get into that headspace when you're reading a book and you're like, oh my God, like,
you
that's
know what
me.
they're thinking.
I'm endlessly, like, I used to feel that way when I was little and we would be in the car really late at night and be like, this is my life. Like, this is the rest of my life. And this is the
I feel like that when I
worst.
was pregnant. I was like, I can't remember not being pregnant.
Like, this is how, this is
me
the
now.
way life is now. Like, why am I being tortured? And so, like, that's, you get that.
And you have to think that these entities, like kind of how Dan's talking about aliens have nothing better to do.
Mm-hmm.
They have nothing better to do, and they don't care.
No.
We're not anything.
They don't have jobs to get to.
They
This
don't
is
care.
it.
All they care, they basically traded their humanity for knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like we're trying to get all these answers about the afterlife. They know about that stuff. They're trying to understand what makes humans behave what makes humans behave the way they do.
Well, and maybe it's I mean, we can get really deep on it. Maybe it's like a commentary about being analytical and being like scientifically minded instead of being a believer and being agnostic or atheistic versus being a believer and the kind of trouble that can get you into and losing your humanity. But I mean, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this, I mean, it does shine a light on this kind of idea that a lot of people have, where a lot of people spend their whole lives trying to understand on things that we can't possibly understand. Like, I personally do not think that we're going to crack what happens after we die.
No.
Like, I just don't think we're going to do that.
No.
I don't think anyone's going to get definitive physical proof of God or any kind of deity.
Yeah.
You know, some things really, like, I have always said, you know, we all gotta find our own answers, and it's a matter of faith. You know, whatever gets you through the day.
Yeah.
But that's why we have faith, because, you know, not everything can be quantified.
Yeah.
And so for people who do all that, then to think about how small we are in not just the world, in the universe.
Yeah.
We are tiny little specks of nothing. We don't even, compared to like how tortoises live, like we don't even live that long.
No.
Like we are a just blip of nothing. And so when you think of something that's endless, like these entities, their questions are much, much bigger. And they're the ones who have all the power here.
Yeah.
And so it almost kind of makes you like wonder, like, you know, those people who spend all their time looking for answers that they're never going to find. Like, what's the point?
We started watching Oppenheimer last night.
Oh, yeah? Did you watch Barbie movie too?
Well, we did, but we watched it a long time
Dan
ago.
won't let me watch Oppenheimer until I get the Barbie movie.
Well, so Doug and I even talked about Danny Tanner.
Danny Tanner from Full House?
Doug and I talked about, you know, in Oppenheimer, because he's a physicist, right? And so he's talking about like the universe and stars and atoms and like how like we're so small, like nothing really matters, but like kind of how freeing that can be to not matter.
Well, and think about some things that we do accept on faith. Like, for instance, love. I mean, you can break down the hormones and stuff, but the love you have for your, you know, loved one, your partner, or your child, like, you can't break that down into hormones and chemicals. No. It's something, but, and we know that because we have souls, but for an entity that has no soul and stuff, like that kind of stuff is fascinating. Yeah. And they will take you apart and put you back together again just to understand that. To understand something. Like, animal, I always think it's so funny when there's movies about killer animals that want revenge. Like, animals don't do that. You can do the most horrible thing you can to an animal, and they're not going to hunt you down because you killed their baby.
They're going to find a way to find somebody to love.
Unless you did it right in front of them. Yeah. Like, they're not going to, like, in Jaws, the one where it goes across oceans to find them. Like, not how animals work, but humans will. Humans can carry a grudge for forever and do insane things to get revenge. And so I think this entity is trying to understand that kind of stuff. Like, what makes us tick. And these are things that we take for granted.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, God, it was such a, like, this is why this is fun. Because, like, I can read this book, and I can have these questions, and then it's just like, well, I read the book, and then I didn't really like it, because I feel like I didn't get my questions answered. But in us talking about it, I feel like I do have my questions answered.
We have found the answers.
And I like it more now. I mean, I still rated it 4 stars. I really liked it. It was a great book.
And that's what, another reason I would recommend this book, because I think it's really fun to talk about with people.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think even beyond what we're saying, there's other ways to interpret it.
Yeah, for sure. for sure. I hope everybody reads it.
Kayla says, the love you have for Chucky. Yes, that is something that no being could possibly wrap their heads around.
No, I can't.
It's so good. It's such a good series, dude. Just
Okay.
the series and the movies. It's just the best franchise ever, except for maybe Evil Dead.
I get Evil Dead. I get why one would love that. It's not for me.
You know what? I'm gonna make a flippin' video about why Chucky is the
You should.
best.
I would come to this PowerPoint presentation.
And then you will know.
Okay.
You will know.
Do it.
Okay, so that was episode 13. We need we're talking about working on a rubric. I actually have kind of a rubric I use. We kind of go by GOODREADS currently, which is like a 5-star thing, and they don't have half stars.
No, but their stars do have meanings. Like 3 is I liked it. Right? Most of the time when you give something 3 stars, you don't like it. But when I'm rating my books on GOODREADS, I go by their
that's
what
what
the
I
thing
do
says. Did you read any other books this month?
I read a really cool novella called Things, which kind of pairs with this well. It's the movie The Thing from the point of view of the alien, which was really exciting because the alien doesn't understand. Like,
that sounds really fun.
It's about communion, and we're stronger together, and it wants to, you know, meld the people together, and the humans are scary, and they are like separating where they're vulnerable, and like the humans are and why did they dig him up if they don't want his help and stuff? Like, he's just trying to bring peace and get us all to be a one smorgasbord shunting creature.
That sounds really cute, actually.
And here the people are to dig him up, don't want his help.
How rude.
Flippin' awful. Like, it was so good.
I love it. I love it. I finally finished that C.S. Lewis trilogy that I was reading. Took me all year. When did I start reading that book? In like March or something like that?
I think it was, I honestly, as long as we've had book club, I feel like you've been reading it.
I have been. It was really...
I think it was January.
It was a rough read, but it was really good. It was really, really good. Hardcore book club. It is hardcore.
Fairpoint saying we should tag any book we rate under 3 stars, the best or the worst, then tag the author. I think we've really hated a book we've read in book club. I have read some books I didn't like this year, but not that bad.
There were some. I think I really didn't like Meddling Kids.
I think that was honestly...
I really wanted it to be
my
better.
lowest of the year, too, which sucked because I was so looking forward to it.
I was, too.
I guess this is our end of the year. What was your favorite of the year?
She's a Haunting.
My favorite was How to Sell a Haunted House.
Yeah.
That was my favorite book of the year by Grady Hendrix. So good. But this was a
good one.
So out of 5 stars, how would you rate it? You can do half stars too, because screw GOODREADS.
Can I give it like a point system?
Yeah, do that.
Out of 5, I give it like a 3.8.
Okay.
Like really, like a 4, close to a 4.
I would give it like, for me, like it's above average.
Yeah.
So I'd give it like a 3.5. Unfortunately, I don't know if this is one that's good. It's, for me, not as memorable as like Stuff for the Children, the other book you read. But it is really good, and yeah, that's for the audiobook too.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it.
So it's good. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend the audiobook because I think it's just a great experience.
Yeah. I think so too.
You read the book and you enjoyed it?
I did. It was so easy. It was really easy because it's like just little snippets. Like it felt like I was breezing through. It wasn't like these long, winding chapters after I got done with that C.S. Lewis book that took me all year. It was a relief. It was a relief.
And so this is the end of our year. We started this at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Because both of us wanted to read more. Mm-hmm. And we did it.
We did it.
High five!
Yes.
And we have one more left. And it was your pick.
It was. So, real quick, I started this year with a goal of reading 20 books. You way surpassed your goal because you went through that 1 month where you did nothing.
Month where I read a lot of books.
I just finished this book, and I hit 22 books.
Hells yeah!
I'm very proud of my...
I don't remember how many I read, but I remember it was twice as much as I wanted to read.
Yeah, you read a lot.
I wanted to read 2 books a month.
Yeah.
And I read twice that
I think you ended up reading like 50-something books.
I think I did.
That sounds about right.
So, okay, if I wanted to read 2 books a month, I wanted to read 24. Yeah. I read twice that many.
Yeah.
I think I've read 50. I don't know for
52.
sure.
I think the last time I checked on Goodreads, it was like 50.
It was. I read some books.
Thank you for your support, everybody. Yeah, it feels really good. I feel like really good being back in the habit of reading. And thank you for inviting me to be here and be a part of your community. And yeah, thank you. I'm really grateful for it.
We're going to do it next year, right?
Yes.
Hells yeah.
Yes. So our next book that we're reading is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak.
What's this one about?
So this girl, she's fresh out of rehab, gets a job as a nanny, and weird stuff happens. There's pictures.
Nuh-uh. That's cool.
That's like the whole thing of the book.
That's adorable.
Yeah. They changed.
That makes like getting the physical book like kind of an extra bonus.
Yes. And I got it on Kindle through, look at this. I'm not going to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I got it from my Kindle. So like
you see, you do. Because I got it through the library too. I finished this book already. It was really good.
Overachiever.
I know. Well, school's over. I needed something to do. So I just rushed through it. But I read it through the library. I got it through there too. So when I was like in bed, it's easier to read it there. But you get the pictures too.
Danny, you're supposed to make up the references.
Yeah, this is lazy.
That's not gonna fly, buddy. It's a little lazy.
I get your cooking.
All right, so please read Hidden Pictures with us now to incite you to read this more. This was Goodreads' best horror book of last year.
Yeah, of 2022.
Yeah. So I anticipate that this is going to be a really good one. I've heard nothing but rave reviews of this. If you read along with us on Goodreads, we have a chat there where you can post your thoughts as you read along. You know, other members of the community can talk to you. We'll talk to you and post our thoughts. And then the first Thursday of next month, it's always the first Thursday of the month, join us for the stream. Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we're going to talk about it. And if you've read the book, like, how exciting is that? You're going to be like one of those kids who's like, oh, dude, I already know about that book.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have like this inside thing where we get each other through the screen. It's like we're just reaching out there and like touching your sweet, squishy brain.
Okay. All right.
It's going to get intimate is what it's going to be. And it's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
So you should read it.
I think the more people read, if people read these books, we'll have a lot more to talk about.
You should be a librarian.
I am.
That was the best look. Like,
shut your mouth and read your book.
It'll be good
All
for
I have to
you.
say.
Reading is like cerebral calisthenics. It's like your brain's doing aerobics.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
It exercises it. It makes you think about things in different ways, and
it makes you feel like you've accomplished something. It's awesome.
Yeah, and this was the easy one. I literally read it in a week. It was really good. It was really good. Yeah, I really liked it.
I haven't even started it yet, but I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read this.
Yeah.
Now, here's another exciting reason. By the way, the link for our Goodreads group is in the description down below. So every month we have a theme. For what we're picking the book for, and then Kayla and I decide what book we're gonna read. But next year, one of our months we've already decided it is one where you guys vote on the book.
Yes.
So like from your suggestions, you guys vote, and then that'll be our book. But we're probably gonna borrow from a lot of other suggestions you guys throw out there. Yeah. Mostly we're looking forward to reading a lot of new release books next year.
Yeah, that'd be
great.
great.
But I want to mix it up, dude. Like maybe we'll read like a nonfiction book about scary stuff. Maybe we'll read a graphic novel.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
I know, right? I know some spooky ones.
I'm a little scared about reading a nonfiction book.
I also thought it could be fun. One month, we read different books where I tell you a book I want you to read, and you tell me a book you want me to read.
That'd be a really good
And we have
idea.
2 books we talk about.
That's fun. Like when we've already read.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Boom.
Yeah.
Our high fives are on point today.
Yeah, they
so
are.
good.
Man, we're gonna read so many books.
We're gonna read so many books.
So many books. Yeah, you should make recommendations, suggestions.
Yeah, there's other things in the chat too that are beyond just the book. You can talk to us about something exciting you've read that you want to recommend. Anything exciting coming out next year. I mean, just anything. Just you could also just be like, hey,
I really liked this book.
Yeah, you could also just be like, when I think about books, I touch my shelf.
Did you just come up with that?
No.
Okay, I was like, that was
genius.
Genius over here that I'm working with. Love it. Okay.
But you could just say whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Say anything.
Or make other suggestions too. Like if you want to see more graphic novels or nonfiction, or just hey, can 1 month do a book that's like a novella that's shorter? Yeah. Or if you just want us to find something that's about like vampires or zombies or whatever it is that you're into.
Yeah, I agree. I love it.
All right.
Well, here we are.
We did it. Now we're going to go eat ribs.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm so excited. Yay.
We should plan out some books while we do that too, probably.
Oh, yeah.
We should probably do some work.
So we're going to start planning out for next year, but y'all can be involved in that planning.
Yes.
You know, like on Goodreads, you get like our ear, because honestly, nobody posts them there, guys.
No,
so like,
it's just us.
So if you make suggestions, most likely we're going to read that book.
Yeah.
So make suggestions, because we're going to start planning for next year, and the next time we will probably reveal our whole list for 2024. 2024, dude.
2024. Can you believe it?
No.
I'm not ready.
Me neither. It's a lot.
Doesn't matter. It's coming whether we're ready or not.
I know. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. We're going to read so many books. So many books.
It's fine.
Thank you guys all for watching and for hanging out with us in the chat and participating and just all of your great questions and stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Blessed be.
Yeah.
Bye.
Till we meet again. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Woohoo, bye.